Hello, my name is Agar Thomas, and I am delighted to present to you your new Legal Shield and ID Shield supplemental benefit. My partner there, Mr. Savoy Abney, his contact information is right there. He actually was responsible for getting in contact with Ms. Jones because Ms. Jones actually has had our program to cover her business before now. So, and she was concerned enough about you guys that she said, hey, listen, what about my 25 employees? What can they get? And so this is what we're bringing to you today. Welcome to the new Legal Shield, ID Shield supplemental benefit. Ladies and gentlemen, I always like to get started with something on the light side. You know, with everything going on with the pandemic and, people being quarantined, I thought it was interesting how this husband and father answered this question. Take a look at this.
Because of coronavirus, you are going to be quarantined, but you have a choice. Do you A, quarantine with your wife and child, or B?
Needless to say, he didn't care what the B option was. He was just going with B regardless of what's what. So once again, I know they say sometimes laughter leads to listening. So I am delighted to present to you your new supplemental Legal Shield program. You may be wondering, what is Legal Shield? Well, the same business model that you and I use to keep us from paying doctors per hour by having health insurance, well, that's the same business model we use to keep you from paying lawyers per hour. Legal Shield is to attorney fees what major medical is to hospital or doctor bills. In other words, many of the things you need most are paid in advance through your membership. And things that are not, then guess what? You get up to a 25% discount off whatever the hourly rate is and a 5% discount off the flat rate. Ask yourself this question, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever signed a contract or document you didn't totally understand? Had a landlord-tenant dispute? Needed to get your will done? Received a traffic ticket? All of those different things are things that may come across your mind, but guess what? You can call the law firm, talk to an expert in those areas, and find out exactly the answers to those questions. That's what's great about the program that we have in place. And we have an app. We say just tap the app. And here's what we mean. When you tap the app to call the law firm, you can talk to them on an unlimited number of personal issues about anything. As a result of that, they will also write letters and make phone calls on your behalf. You and I can write letters and make phone calls. People don't pay us any attention. Person get a letter from an attorney, kind of makes it to the top of the pile. And here's what I mean. We had a situation where there was a lady that was 3 months behind on her house note. And she said, she called me up. This was some years ago. We didn't have an app at that time. She said, well, look, I know I'm going to lose my house. I'm just curious about what, the foreclosure procedures are. Well, she called the law firm. The law firm asked her, had she tried to work anything out with the mortgage company? She said yes, but they said there was nothing they could do. She said, they said, well, give us a shot at it. They wrote a letter to the mortgage company and asked the mortgage company, they take the 3 months she was behind, put it on the back end of the note. What they did, it, ladies and gentlemen, it saved her house. Now, she was excited about that, but she said, look, I had heard of that before, and I asked my mortgage company, would they do that for me? And they told me no. And I said, well, you now understand what I understand. You and I can write letters and make phone calls. People don't pay us any attention. They get a letter from an attorney, makes it to the top of the pile. It makes a big difference when the attorney writes a letter compared to you writing a letter. Before you sign a contract or document, let the attorneys look it over and make sure you understand it. What about IRS audit? If you're audited by the IRS, they give you 50 hours of tax attorney time paid for to cover the taxes due April 15th or the year you enroll. So that means your 2019 taxes, ladies and gentlemen, will be covered. What about civil lawsuits? If a lawsuit is filed against you civilly, you get 60 hours the first year. And every year on the anniversary date, it goes up by 60 hours. And from the 5th year on, you have 300 hours of attorney time paid for. So think about that. Your time goes up, but yet what you pay stays the same, okay? Then once you've had our membership for 90 consecutive days, you get an uncontested divorce, uncontested adoption, uncontested name change, uncontested separation. So I always say it like this. Ladies, if you're trying to get your name back, give us 89 more days, and guess what? You'll be able to get that name back, okay? Then this is very important. 24 hours, 7-day-a-week emergency access to the attorneys. If you have a question, detained, arrested, Social Service shows up at your house, try to take your children, or you're involved in an accident, you have 24-hour emergency access to the attorneys to talk to them about any issue that you have in a situation like that. And ladies and gentlemen, especially with type business that you guys are in, you may have something like that that may come on after 5 p.m. and you want to make sure you have somebody that's in your corner. Okay, so those are the things that we have as far as our program is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the most used part of our membership that we had, and that's the moving traffic part of it. Here's what we're talking about. If you have a speeding ticket or moving traffic violation, this will save you time and save you money and give you peace of mind. Here's what I mean. All you do is tap the app, take a picture of the ticket, hit send. When the attorneys get it, they will hire and pay an attorney in whatever city, county, state you got your ticket in to go to court for you. And their job is to get it reduced or to get it thrown out if they can. Now, no drug or alcohol can be involved. You must be properly licensed and driving a properly licensed vehicle. Also, let me say this to you as well. I found out this from a personal standpoint. Had a ticket. I was on my way to Dothan, going through Dothan, Alabama, on my way to Destin, Florida. And the GPS on my phone stopped talking. So I told my wife and the other two ladies in the car with me, hey, listen, you guys are going to have to look at the phone and tell me which way I need to go. I actually, because I had slowed up, I thought the state trooper was pulling me over because I was impeding traffic. He said I was going 60 under 45. No way. Make a long story short, I take a picture of the ticket, hit send, I send it in. They assigned me an attorney. Her last name was Crooks. True. Her last name was Crooks. Bottom line is she continued my case probably 2 or 3 different times. She finally called me up. She said, Mr. Thomas, I know you know I continue your case. Let me explain what's going on. If you're going 15 miles or more over the speed limit, North Carolina is like a lot of other states, is that it's not speeding. It's called reckless driving. It's a felony, and it's a mandatory 2 points. So she said, the reason I continue your case is because I have a friend of mine that's a judge, and he comes in our jurisdiction about once every 3 months. Once I got him in place, we were able to convince the officer to rewrite your ticket from 60 under 45 to 59 under 45. Ladies and gentlemen, that now brings it down to speeding now. I paid a $20 fine, $195 court cost. Bottom line, no driving points, no insurance points. Here's what I say to people. Even if I had a mother, father, sister, brother that was an attorney, they wouldn't be able to help me unless, first of all, they were licensed in Alabama. Second of all, they'd have to have the same hookup that Ms. Crooks did with that judge. So it's very important to have a program like this in place. On a serious note, though, if you have an accident, somebody dies, you kill somebody, and the state charges you with death by motor vehicle, vehicle homicide, vehicular manslaughter, listen to me very carefully, ladies and gentlemen. No car insurance company in America covers criminal charges. You have to hire an attorney to stay out of jail. Most attorneys want $5,000 to $10,000 to plead it, another $5,000 to $10,000 to litigate it. IDShield is the only. We're not one of. We're the only company in America that, as long as no drug or alcohol is involved, you're properly licensed, driving a properly licensed vehicle. If that ever happens to you, from your first phone call all the way through into trials, deposition, inquiries, 100% of your attorney fees be paid. And I hope and pray you never have to call me to tell me you had to use it for that. Will preparations. Smart people get a will. If you die without a will, the state can determine who gets custody of your children even if you're married. That could mean foster care. The state can also determine what property yours is sold to pay off any debts you may have. And if you've ever been divorced and you die without a current up-to-date will, your ex-spouse could stand to get a bundle even if you marry somebody else later. So we do a will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney at absolutely no out-of-pocket cost to you as well as your spouse or significant other. Now, I think this is the best part of our membership because things that are normally never covered in a legal service program like DUI, DWI, bankruptcy, divorce, child support, child custody, criminal issues, drug-related charges, pre-existing coverage, things like that are normally covered in a legal service program. But not only do we cover it, we give you a 25% members discount on the hourly rate and a 5% discount off the flat rate. So you will never pay 100% of attorney fees as long as you have our program. Who's covered? We cover you as a member, your spouse, or significant other. Now, you can't cover both. You got to decide which one you want to cover. By the way, if you have a spouse and significant other, I suggest you don't worry about anything else I say. Just go ahead and get to the highlighted form at the end and go ahead and fill that out because you probably need to talk to an attorney right away, okay? But you, your spouse or significant other, never married children under the age of 26, living at home, or full-time college students, taking 12 or more hours in school, up to age 18 if you got legal guardianship, and if you got a child that's physically and mentally challenged and you're responsible for 51% or more of their care, they're covered for life. Now, there's a huge problem that everybody's facing these days, and that's identity theft. Criminals don't want your money. A lot of people think that this is about financial identity theft. That's not what it's all about. Only 9% of identity theft shows up on your credit report. 91% involve driver's license, social security, medical, criminal, and character as well. Well, we take care of all of those things and we do it right away. Let's go. The great thing about our IDShield program is that we monitor not just the credit. A lot of places monitor just credit, but our credit, you got to understand something. The FTC gave some stats saying that only 9% of identity theft shows up on your credit report. 91% involves stuff like tax returns, medical claims, social security, driver's license, and criminal and character. And those are the things that we monitor on a daily basis. In fact, this next clip, I think you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about right here.
Every time Stancy Nesby looks in the rearview mirror, she can't help but wonder if she's about to be pulled over.
Everybody needs to put themselves in my shoes and know that this could happen to them.
A 30-year-old single mom with 4 kids who holds 2 jobs working as a nurse's assistant, life was hard enough before her problems with police.
It's made it really hard for me to smile and be the normal person that I felt like I was at first.
It started 4 years ago when Stancy was pulled over for speeding in the Bay Area. She admitted going too fast, but couldn't understand why she was being arrested.
I ended up going to jail that day. They didn't believe anything I was saying.
It turned out Stancy had a warrant for her arrest. The police databases showed she'd been busted for cocaine possession here in San Francisco's seedy Tenderloin district back in 1999, but that she never showed up for court appearances. Stancy had to spend 3 days in jail. The problem, she was innocent. Police later confirmed it when her fingerprints didn't match the real suspect who had used Stancy's name.
I've had nightmares about this.
She says police told her they'd fix the problem, but 2 months later, Stancy was arrested again, this time at her home in Berkeley. Once again, she says when the officers discovered the error, they told her they'd help her clear her name. But 3 months later, Stancy was arrested again in yet another jurisdiction. And it didn't end there. From 2002 to 2004, Stancy was arrested or detained 7 times by 5 police departments. In one instance, hauled off right in front of her children.
The kids were crying, and basically they ended up, throwing me on the ground and sticking their knees in my back.
Every time, she says authorities promised to fix the problem, but didn't.
Maybe it's because I'm not a rich person that they feel like I'm nobody. But I am somebody and I have feelings, and I don't think that they should run people's lives like this.
Stancy
See, ladies and gentlemen, that could really be devastating. Let me tell you what we monitor on a daily basis. Besides your credit, your social security number, your passport, driver's license, medical ID, up to 10 email addresses each for you and your spouse or significant other. Address changes. If there's ever an address change that comes in on you, they will automatically contact you to find out whether you did that or not. Credit cards, up to 10 credit cards each, 10 bank accounts each, the dark web, up to 34 billion sites, social media, we monitor that as well, and public records as well. So we're going to monitor all three credit bureaus. There's $1 million protection policy, which means that you can get reimbursed up to $1 million for stuff like lost wages or expenses you may have in trying to take care of restoring your identity, and high-risk applications as well as transaction monitoring as well. For our IDShield, we have you as an individual to be a member, or for the family, it covers you as a member, your spouse or significant other, and up to 10 dependents under the age of 26. Now, your contribution for the plan is very, very simple, and it's done on a payroll deduction basis. As far as a family is concerned, for legal and IDShield, it's only $7.82 payroll deduction. For an individual, or if you are a person who has a family, but you want your family to only be covered for the legal part, and you cover for the legal and the IDShield, then in that case, it's only $6.44 payroll deduction. I really love this next part because this is a way for you to actually get the program for free. And here's what I mean. Yes, they will payroll deduct the amount from you, but what if I told you you could actually, with the savings that you get on stuff like your cell service, satellite cable service, groceries, hotel discounts, things of that nature, that you could actually save way more than what's being deducted out of your paycheck? Well, that's what we have. These benefits are normally reserved for companies that have 1,000 or more employees, but with our member perks program, if you get either one of our plans, whether it's the individual or whether it's a family plan, you're going to get member perks. In other words, once you enroll and it's keyed in, right after on the 1st of July, you're going to get an email that'll give you your member number, the toll-free number for the law firm, and it'll also tell you how to download the app and set everything up so that you can start getting your member perks. On average, people are saving anywhere from $10 to $15 a month on their cell service, $20 to $30 a month on their satellite cable service. There's a grocery tab that you can click, and you will never finish downloading all of the coupons for everything from milk, bread, cheese, you name it, that you can take to the grocery store on your phone or your tablet and get discounts on that as well. The average savings runs, ladies and gentlemen, anywhere from about $49. How some people are saving $100, $150, $200 a month on things they're using on a daily basis anyway. So I'm sure you can see in a situation like that, what that means is that you now have the power in your hand that you not only get the program that's involved, but you're getting discounts on things you use on a daily basis anyway, which means that offsets way more than what you're contributing to the program. Now, there's no red tape. There are no claim forms, no deductibles, no co-pays, and it's fully portable. What I mean by that is, if you leave the company, you can carry this with you, and the rate stays the same. They'll just set up a way for you to start paying it on an individual basis from your savings, checking, or credit card or ATM card, and you do it that way. But the great thing about it is that the same rate that you get through the group, you'll get that same rate on an individual basis if you leave the company and go someplace else, or if you retire. Let me walk you through the enrollment form. All you do is that, you're either going to do the family plan, or you're going to do the individual plan, or if you do the individual plan if you just want to be covered both for the legal and IDShield for yourself, and the family for just the legal part. You're going to let me walk you through this. For the today's date, that will be 07/01/2020. Put down 7 a.m. as the effective time. We don't need your full social. We just only need the last four of your social. Last name, first name, your address. It will even take P.O. boxes. your birth date. Then for your spouse or significant others, we just need their last name, first name, and their birth date. Then your cell phone number and your email address. Very important, because remember, the information is going to be emailed to you within about 15 minutes of when we key it in with your member number and the toll-free number for the law firm. Then your signature. Now, under dependents, we only have 3 spots there, but we will cover all of your dependents up to age 26 that's never been married. So if you need additional space, just write on the back of the application and let us know that's what it is. But just make sure when you're emailing that to me that you make me be aware of that, or you can put it down in the email about the additional over 3 people. Then you put down the name of the company, your occupation. Down at the bottom, then you print your name, put your full social down there. You don't necessarily have to put the full social down there, but at least the last 4, because that goes to payroll. This is the part that goes to payroll. And obviously this is weekly. And then your signature. And then we take it from there. And you will be effective on July 1st, 2020. Much like people do with health insurance, because of the ramifications of what's involved, we also ask you to fill out an opt-out sheet if you are not planning to enroll in the program at this time. Most people do, but if you decide for whatever reason you're not, and let me just kind of give you a highlight of that. Basically what this is saying is that Legal Shield plan would get you and your spouse or significant other a will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, a minor child's trust at no out-of-pocket cost to you. And this is not being offered by any of your other plans through your employer. Also, you're acknowledging that the plan will pay 100% of your attorney fees in the event you're involved in an accident. And as long as no drug or alcohol is involved, your property license, driving a property license vehicle. Most people don't realize that if you have an accident and somebody dies and you're charged with death by motor vehicle, vehicle homicide, or vehicle manslaughter, that no automobile insurance covers those charges. You have to hire an attorney. And most attorneys want anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to plead, and another $5,000 to $10,000 to litigate it. So this is just saying that you are aware that this is not provided on your job as well. You also understand that the IDShield program will monitor your driver's license, medical, criminal, Social Security, and tax returns as well, and that you're aware that this is not covered in any, and we cover pre-existing identity theft at 100%, which is great. And also with the Member Perks program, the amount of savings that you can have in situations like that as well. And if for whatever reason you're not participating in the program at this time, we really need you to send that in to us so that can be put in your files, so there's no misunderstanding as far as to what's covered and what you understand is covered one way or another. So we appreciate that. Now, here's what your next steps are. You need to turn all paperwork in. It should be emailed to me, agarthomas44@gmail.com, or turn it in to Ms. Jones no later than Monday, June 29th, by the end of business day. That way we can gather the paperwork up, get everything keyed in on the 30th, because your effective date is going to be July 1. We look forward to having you in the Legal Shield family. If you need to call me, get any kind of information or updates or any kind of clarity on anything that you saw in the presentation, feel free to give me a call at 336-263-5438, 336-263-5438. Welcome to the Legal Shield family.